Yeah, but...
All right. Sick. All right. All right, welcome back to episode number 3 of The Hunt. Today I'm joined by my co-host Benny Robertson, Michael Plant. How are we, fellas?
Fantastic. Very good.
Very good. I'm doing pretty well. A bit fatigued and tired and sore, but you get that prepping for nationals, don't you, Benny?
That's it.
This bloke wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's a beacon. That's a bit rough.
Now, today we're going over, obviously, the heavyweights of the Open National Championships on the Gold Coast next weekend. It's coming up very fast. So we'll be going over the 76s, 84s, 84 plus, 105s, 120, 120 plus. So very much so looking forward to that. There isn't actually that many more lifters in those divisions compared to the other middleweight weight classes. So we should fly through this pretty quickly. But I will preface that I'm not wearing any shoes, fellas. All right? And I know that's not part of the attire, and Paige, one of the other female coaches here at HPC, is probably going to be watching this blowing up about the fact I'm not wearing shoes. But
I got roasted for wearing slides in the first episode.
yeah, like...
And now you're barefoot.
Now I'm barefoot.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to be getting an absolute earful come Monday when she sees this. And it's the only reason that I'm not wearing shoes is because I've got bloody athlete's foot, you know? Yeah. I've never had athlete's foot before. I thought I had a blister between my toe.
That's disgusting.
And it's just been growing fungus and who knows what between the toes, and it's just not nice. So letting it breathe and air out. So I apologise if you see I swing my foot onto my knee as I do. But I'll probably try and keep them under the table. But apologise for my appearance.
All you've done by doing this is draw attention to
I
that.
know.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not good. Anyway, kick things off. We just want to thank our sponsors. Our sponsor, the only sponsor that we have, Drop Bear Coffee. They have a very generous discount code that allows you to have 10% saved off the beans that you buy local or interstate. And right on cue, we actually have a personal delivery.
Just as I was getting thirsty.
That's it.
Exactly right. Here we are. Morning, mate.
Morning, mate.
Come have a fucking seat real quick. So it's been a while since you've been on last. Like, how many episodes ago?
Double bourbon and Coke. Triple Scotch and dry.
Thank you very much, mate.
Oh, that's right.
I thought so, yeah.
That's Moscato for you. Yeah.
On the hard stuff,
Lid's not on properly, trying to sabotage me.
It's all the content.
No, very good.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. How's everything been since episode 1, mate?
Very good.
This is episode 3.
Holy jolly.
So we're flying through them. Yeah, watch any of them.
Been too busy.
Nah, well,
It's taking all my time.
it is. And Jut's downstairs. He does a very good job of keep things quiet when we record these podcasts. But how hard is that for you?
Very difficult.
Very difficult.
Someone's got raging ADHD and loves to sniff of the shard.
How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
Oh, like 6. Got one.
Man, you got to that quick.
I'll get it myself.
Now, I think the one thing we want to touch on today is how
Your earlobes,
Raging.
how's your strongman prep going?
Really well, thanks. I'm just doing it right now. So much support.
That's it, yeah.
Would you say that your best event is the bit before you lift it, the sniffing the ammonia?
Yeah, truly. That's
Get
probably my
rest up.
strong suit. Getting revved up and everyone else revved up. No, I'm just going to put my weights real low so I can't, you know.
Do you know what events you're doing?
No, I haven't practiced most of them.
When
Have you done any
Farmers
training
carry,
for it?
Good at that.
Have you done any training for
A
it?
little bit.
Little bit?
The log lift thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Good alright at that.
No, for so those who don't know, we've got a strongman competition on the 19th of November. It's a novice strongman competition.
There's another one.
And Connor will be...
Right,
Wait, when was the last time you played sport, actually?
Oh, yeah. I went for a bit of a run around probably a year and a half ago.
Playing
in
footy.
Sydney, playing rugby. Played 3 games back to back.
And how was
nearly
that?
died.
And did you back up like Resi's second grade, first grade?
Yeah, I
Did you get a run in first grade?
Yeah.
What position were you playing?
Sloppy Joe at the back. I would have been second row or number 8, filling in somewhere and doing fuck all by that stage.
Oh my God.
So trust me.
Oh, well, now you can. We just got demonetised.
Yep.
That's all right.
Sweet.
Yeah.
The main thing is that we're all looking forward to you, mate, competing on the Strongman Common 19.
Get amongst it. Love the community, the network. It's lots of fun. Some of the boys are practicing down there at the
We'll
moment.
drop Bear B there, mate, for a
Yeah,
proper show.
of course.
Awesome.
We'll be singing along, so come see us, come say hi.
Very good. And for those who don't know, as I already mentioned before, Connor walked in, we are holding a discount code on his website, Shard10 in caps locks. And how do we say that, boys?
Shard10!
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Where's the
No. I must have slipped.
That's you.
Fat fingers, mate. I've got athlete's foot.
I'll be seeing a lot of them in the next comp, I tell you.
All right, mate. Well done.
See you later.
Take care,
you,
mate.
mate.
Enjoy.
Good to see you. Fucking hell. Just pretty much put a dent in my couch.
Hey, Benny, is your mic on?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can't see any light. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it does,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, my bad.
Far out.
Just making sure it's running smoothly, you know?
Fired then.
Even if it was off, we could still hear you breathing.
Come on.
All right. Now, before we get started, as always, we'll go through the comments from the last one. So we touched on before how there was some profanity in...
Here we go. What do you got this time?
So we said a couple naughty words, you know, like in the last episode, and it was made clear in the comment section. But at the end of the day, like,
Fuck 'em.
fuck 'em.
Is that what you were about to say?
Yeah. You fucking beat me to it. No, but the thing is like, I can't not swear because it's in my DNA, not DNA, like it's a bit fucked. I mean, it's in my like personality to just be who I am, you know. And if I can't say, you know, those mean naughty words, it just doesn't make me feel like I'm being
Puts a
myself.
roadblock in
It's
your
a roadblock in
conversation.
my brain. I
That's it.
stop and I stuttle and I feel
You
self-conscious.
stuttle.
What is it? Startle?
Stutter.
Stutter as well.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've probably got some.
See?
sort of
There you
speech.
go.
But anyway, leave us alone. Let us
Yeah.
fucking, you know, say a couple of
Have a
We'll
bit of
try to
fucking
get
carry on.
a minute in without swearing.
We did. I think
we
Yeah.
it would have been close.
But-
Yeah, but Jut fucked it.
yeah.
and once we hit 1,000 subs, and you can start monetizing videos and stuff like that. Fuck. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
So if
know.
you want to hear more swearing,
Yeah,
Don't
I
subscribe.
probably just won't do any
Don't
videos. Yeah. Anyway, let's have a look at these other comments. So, believe it or not, we got the exact same subscribers commenting on our videos from last week.
very
Really?
active.
So, from Sir Squats a lot, alluding to his previous comment, he says, "Yo, Shrek, can I get a spot? Question mark. I just want you to be close to your swamp."
I don't know what to say to that.
Well, I think
That was, yeah.
he's on.
Holy.
So, what do you have to say to Sir Squats?
What are you doing?
Fuck me.
Oh, that's the worst.
And the very last comment. Oh, goodness me. From We Want More Jut 69. Oh my gosh. So he must have commented this after Sir Squats a lot. He says, "You should get Ben and Michael to go to Halloween as Lord Farquaad and Shrek." Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I actually found one more comment.
Oh.
It's actually
Go.
from Sumo is cheating 83. And it says can bald spot keep his foot fungus to himself?
Hey, cool, man. That's not cool. Oh, I've never had this before. And here I am for 2 weeks picking at it and like, fuck, this blister won't go away.
Oh.
Turns out I've got to get antifungal cream and
Part of being an athlete, eh?
part of being an athlete, you know.
That's it.
You got if you don't train hard enough, if you got an athlete's foot.
Or you're not changing your socks.
No, I am changing my socks.
Are you?
But I'm wearing the same socks for like
For how long?
12 hours a day.
I'd bring a spare, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I think that just says I just got to not wear shoes as much.
That might make it worse.
Or just wear me pluggers a bit more often. It's winter. I wear more socks in winter than I do in summer.
Yeah, now you
Anyway,
got your work
let's stop
boots.
talking about fucking, you know,
Anyway, reset that.
that rubbish. Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start with the ladies first, and we're going to go through 76s, 84s, 84 plus. I've got the 76s. You've got the 84s. I thought it was pretty funny that the lightest bloke in the room
Big
does
fella
the
over there.
heaviest weight classes.
That's it, mate. You know.
I was thinking of this well before we made this episode, how funny it'd be to have Michael do the 47s, you do the 84s and 120s. All right.
You're just sussing out the competition for next year, aren't you?
Pretty much, yeah.
said
We're
you're
going
going
up.
up?
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
You at 120 would just be
Be monstrous.
unhealthy.
What would it cost to see that?
What would it cost?
Yeah.
Probably my life.
Fuck me. All right, so we're going to start the 76ers. Now, as mentioned right at the start of every episode of these previews, all three of us, we message every single athlete that we want to talk about, who usually are around that top 5, top 6 sort of, I guess, placing on open powerlifting and the nominations on the APU validations and nominations timetable. And basically, we're just looking to praise and, I guess, give limelight on those lifters and coaches involved for what usually is a very hard and, I guess, strenuous preparation for nationals. And I think in previous time, when we think about previous nationals, there's been none of this sort of like setting where we can, publicize the abilities of these athletes and just how well constructed their preparations have been leading into what we hope to be open nationals. I just think moving forward, what I would like to see is just more of this, because it builds more anticipation. It builds, I guess, an intriguing nature around the competition itself. And it can only mean that it's going to push the sport into more household conversations, you know what I mean? Like the likes of AFL and the NRL and soccer and whatnot. But hopefully you all have enjoyed the previous 2 episodes, and we look forward to obviously presenting this third one to you guys as well.
I think just before we get started as well, just building on that, if we do make a prediction on like how well you're going to do in the competition, that's purely based off what we've seen. Mm-hmm. We're not saying like this is all you can do, right? We want to see those people outperform these numbers. We want to put Australia on the international powerlifting map.
Yep.
So if you think you can do more than what we've said, let us know, because we want to see that.
Exactly right. Mm-hmm. And we want to also see you have the best day possible.
That's right.
So like, I want to see 9 for 9. So the numbers that I've written in regards to the 105s today for what I predict is based off, as Michael said, what I see, but what I would love for you to do. Right? And if you think that we're shooting short of that, let us know. All right? Just we're up for criticism just as much as you guys are, right? So starting from number 4, we've got Nicole Paulson. Okay, so she is from Brizzy. She's coached by Kelly Mann from Purple Motion. And she's only been competing since 2021, fellas. She's been making some vast progress in only the 3 competitions that she's done, putting 50 kilos on her total in the last year, pretty much. So
that's great.
Making those newbie gains. But the thing is that it's scary for these sorts of people, and I'll touch on this in the 105s in regards to the Tonganate, is these lifters who come into the sport strong, but they experience those newbie gains in such a fast, rapid pace that it could actually create a threat to those that are at the top already. Mm-hmm. And those have been in the sport for long enough, and they're not, getting these new experiences in regards to programming and technique. And we all know what it's like to be lifting for the first time. So for Nicole, it works in her favour that she's got so much momentum in regards to these gains that have been made so rapidly that it could end up working in her favour on competition day. Granted, she's had a really good preparation. So at state, she went 147.5, 85, 172.5. She went 8 for 9. So pretty good strike weight. I know the comp before I think was like 6 or 7 for 9, but she's only getting better, which is good. Since states, Nicole has been working obviously silently, not posting much on social media, but I was able to source from Instagram a 152.5 kilo squat 10 weeks ago. So that was shortly after states. So she pretty much got straight back into it, and given that was 10 weeks ago, she's probably done 2 5-week blocks since then, and probably has PB'd again. So to see a 5 kilo PB already, you can only assume another 5 kilos may be there too. And along with benching 85 kilos, which is her comp best comfortably, regularly, you can only assume that she's probably got another 2.5 to 5 kilos within that window as well. I wasn't able to source much of her deadlift, but I know that she's lifted 170 regularly in training as well. So you can expect her to have a big total PR again on competition day, but it will just matter about where those other ladies land in regards to their total with what lifts they make. Moving on to third, we've got Evelyn, bloody hell, Moratardis. I hope I said that right. So Evelyn is a dietitian from Melbourne and is coached by Victor Liu from Lou Liss. She's taken the last 2.5 years off competing, and she's come back with vengeance to obviously get back some momentum. And since that time, she's made some considerable PBs. So well done, Evelyn. I do have some inside intel that she is trying to make weight this time around. So if that's going to play into account, who knows? But I know Victor works closely with Hustler which is a sports nutrition company. And I know all Victor's lifters, I think they're probably endorsed or I guess just have that connection where they're probably going to get a professional service when it comes to making weight for comp. So she's in safe hands, no doubt, and shouldn't be stressed at all considering that accessibility. But at States, she went 9 for 9. She did 150, 150, 180 bench, an 80 kilo bench, and a 180 deadlift. So that was a 2.5 kilo PR at 410. At States, so short time after, she did 152.5, 82.5, 182.5, and that's a 7.5 kilo PB, so making 2.5 kilo PBs across SBD for 417.5. However, she was called on depth on her third squat at 157.5. So she could have, had a 12.5 kilo total PB. You can assume that she's probably been working on that. So maybe 157.5 plus another 5, maybe there as well at Nationals in that time frame. But who knows? I think she's definitely in the running for potentially getting north of 425, considering the momentum and progression that has been making since States. And last but not least is former world record squat holder in the under 72s and silver medalist at the 2016 Worlds, bronze at the 2017 Worlds, and bronze at 2019 IPF Worlds, Isabella Von Weissenberg. So this is Isabella's 20th powerlifting competition.
Jesus.
And since 2019, she has moved up to the new weight class at 76 kilos. So originally she was in the 72s.
Yep.
And now she's in the 76s since the new weight class was made. And she has been pretty much having close to her best performances ever, totaling 13 kilos off what got her bronze at IPF Worlds in 2019. So that's astounding to just be at that level for so long. And a good stat here is that she has only, I think she is probably going to be in the running for maybe potentially hitting best lifter, depending on, in regards to the overalls with the likes of Shazaru and Vicky in the 47. So you're looking at those three girls as fighting for that overall position, and Isabella's going to be way out in front in regards to the contest. I think she'll probably just be gunning for that overall position, but even so, I think returning to the world stage is something that's definitely on her mind.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm unsure of who her coach is. I was aware that she was coached by Mike T for some time, but I'm not sure if she's doing her own thing now or not. But irrespective of that, she did her States qualified Alpha Athletes, going 192.5, 105, 215 for a 2.5 kilo bench PB. And then at New South Wales Open States, at City Strength, she went 195, 102.5, 217.5. So that was a 515 kilo total, which is 2.5 kilos more than States qualifier, and cracked 500 dots for the first time at under 76 kilos. And she did that at 72. So relatively, in regards to her ceiling at each body weight, she's getting better and better and better, which is great. In her training, we've seen her squat 180, bench I haven't seen much of, but she has deadlifted 192.5, and I think that was roughly on the 5th of September. And funnily enough, she's going to absolutely obliterate the records. So the squat record sits at 152.5, so she's probably going to open 30 kilos above that, or she could be cheeky and do some chipping and take those 1 kilo advantages. Same as the bench, she's going to obliterate that, considering that she's bench 105 at States, or the state qualifier, sorry. And her best deadlift is 192.5. Her best deadlift is 217.5 at New South Wales Women's, and the record is 190.5. So she's probably going to be breaking all those records, including the total. So yeah, they will probably be up there for a very long time in Australian history. So good on you, Isabella. And that wraps up the 76ers. So
nice.
What do you think, fellas?
Looks good.
Looks good.
Yeah.
I'm just keen to see how far Isabella goes in the 76ers, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what her momentum's been like, because obviously she had that period after COVID happened in 2019 and 2020 where she hasn't been back to the international platform. But I'm most excited about her getting back there and seeing what she can do on the international stage representing Australia, because Isabella is from Sweden. She's always represented Sweden. So this will be her first time representing Australia, which I think is amazing for the federation, putting us on the map.
Definitely.
And having a squat like that is so impressive at that level. So All the best to you, Isabella. All the best to you, Evelyn. All the best to you, Nicole. So thank you, girls, for allowing us to do this preview.
Yep.
Cool.
I think it's exciting to see how that best lifter battle goes down as well. Like, you know, how you just said. See how the placings go there.
Exactly right. Who from the 69s what were we talking about? Kelly Fagan?
Yeah.
Fagan.
So she also could be running for third place, because the way that I see it, it'd be like Vicky, Shay, Isabella, Kelly Fagan, like those
It's going
two.
to be very close between them.
Yeah, those two are going to be very close, because I'm not sure if Kelly's hit 500 dots or not yet, but I know for a fact if she's on that day,
She could.
it'd be tight.
Do you know much about the GL points that Isabella did dunk?
No, I
not so
don't know. Because open powerlifting just
It can
goes
be
off
dots,
dots. The dogs. Anyway, it's a bit similar. I think like 500 IPF points is like 100 GL points.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
84s.
84 is mine.
Hey? So I took the top 5 from open powerlifting from this year. So I'm just going to work backwards from 5th up to 1st. So starting off with Ajua Hammond. She gave me a rundown of how to pronounce it, so just let me know how it went.
Send you a voice message.
No, she like phonetically spelt it out for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's really helpful. But I was close with my guess.
Very good.
So
Nice, there you go.
she's coached by Steph Lara, and she's the current. Hey.
Steph. I'm getting around her. She's Maddie B's missus.
Yeah,
She's an
yeah.
absolute legend.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
She's the Junior Victoria State Champion for this year, but she had an injury that she was dealing with that was affecting her squat and her deadlift in the prep for the States. So she competed at last year's Collate Nationals, went 150, 85, 175, giving her a 410 total. But at this year's States, she did a 135, 92.5, 165, giving her 392.5. So she seems to be over that injury now. So I think she's looking at maybe 150 to 92.5, 175, giving her a 417. That's based off her training total from, I think it was last week or the week before. She did 140, 92.5, 160, which is is exactly the same total as she got at States. So she's doing that in training now.
Definitely stronger.
Yeah.
Very good.
So I'm looking around maybe 417, maybe more. But we'll see how she goes on the day. Number 4, I've got Rosie Wilson. Not much on her socials, but I spoke to her, she said she's had a really good prep. At Victoria State, she went a 132.5 squat, 85 kilo bench, and a 180 deadlift, giving her 397. So just edging out Ajua by 5 kilos. Kind of hard to give an accurate prediction of what she's going to do because she doesn't post very much. So I think conservatively, I think she might be able to hit 140, 90, 190, giving her 420. So again, just edging out for 4th place there. In 3rd place, I've got Amber Chadwick, who's coached by Shay. At New South Wales States, she did 155, 70, 185, which is 410 total. She missed both her 2nd and 3rd bench attempts though. She took, I think, a 7.5 kilo jump between her 1st and her 2nd. So we'll see how she goes on the day, maybe change that up a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah.
She said she's very determined to hit the national deadlift record, which is 182.5 at the moment.
Wow.
Okay.
So
What was her pull from that last competition?
185. So she's
Yeah,
already
so she's
above it.
above.
She's got the state record,
Yeah,
but
cool.
just wants that national record.
Yeah.
I will touch on this. Like, it's been a while since we've been able to break national records just because of COVID. So national records are going to be broken left, right, centre.
Oh, mate, yeah.
And just a tip for all you coaches and athletes out there, you can break a record on your opening attempt. So when you're in the weigh-in room and you're nominating opening lifts, you can attempt a record in that moment. So take advantage of that chip early on if you can, because that is so helpful.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. I think she said she's looking at around a 150 to 155 kilo squat, 82.5 to 85 bench, and a 195 to 200 deadlift. So absolutely insane numbers there. She said her deadlifts taper really, really well. I think 10 to 15 kilos on top of her training. So 200 is probably...
that, would you, Benny?
200 is probably not out of the question for her. So anywhere between maybe 430 to 440 for a total on the day. Number 2, we got Rebecca Tanzewski, coached by Joey Zingini. She did New South Wales States, came 2nd, got 150, 82.5, 180, giving her 412.5. She's expecting a little bit more on that at Nationals, but she doesn't really post that much, I don't think. So it's kind of hard to tell again. but she has benched over 90 kilos in training, which is 7.5 kilos over what she did at States.
Oh, interesting.
So she's got a bit there. Again, it's hard to predict, but maybe 155 to 160, 90 to 92.5, and then 185 to 190. So that's 430 to 440-ish on the day. Mm-hmm. And then first place, coached by Alex Hayes, Jamie Bowe. So she came first at New South Wales States this year with a 433 total. Did 170, 77.5, 185.5. So she's got the state record there. Again, she's very determined to get that national record as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the top three, are all in contention to get that national record. So there's going to be a lot of strategy going into this competition.
Yeah, definitely.
2 weeks out from this competition, her training numbers were almost identical to her state's performance. So I think she's got a lot left in the tank for this competition. I'm thinking maybe 175, 180 for squat, 80 to 82 for bench, 192.5 to 200 for a deadlift. Again, another 200 kilo deadlift.
She's strong as shit, man.
Yeah.
I saw her at States. Honourable mention to Isabel Devatak as well. She's not competing this year at Nationals because she moved to, or works at Taree, I think, and there's nothing there for her to train with other than her gym, and I think it's just on the low priority list at the moment. But she is someone who had momentum, and she's represented Australia before. I know she went to IPF Worlds in 2016 to Texas. She's someone that would be on this list and would be great to see in competition with these other ladies. Touching on again with the records as well, you can obviously nominate a record on your opening attempt. But say, for example, two girls here, they nominate the same load, that obviously the lighter person goes first. But the thing is that the successful lift off that lighter person at the same load as the heavier person means that heavier person, their record attempt gets rounded down or up to the closest 2.5 increment.
Yeah, right.
Because you can't break a record twice.
Yep.
Right? So just keep an eye on that once the nominations have been submitted, that you need to look at the openings and what everyone's doing just to make sure that you aren't opening the same as someone else and going second, because you run the risk of not having that chip advantage.
Yep.
So just a quick tip.
There you go. Coach tips with Aidan.
Coach tips.
So just a quick recap of the 84s. I've got Jamie Bowe in first place, probably totaling over 450. Second place, I've got Rebecca Tanzewski, 430 to 440. And third place, I've got Amber Chadwick, again, 430 to 440. But those two could go either way. I'm thinking Amber will probably have the last deadlift of the day. So she'll have that advantage just to load up whatever she needs to pull for the win. But it'll definitely be interesting to see. Just a quick special mention to one of HPC's own, Chanel Marley, coached by Chris Southall.
Chanel.
Yeah. She's not competing this year, but she did Victoria Junior States.
Junior Nationals.
Junior Nationals, sorry.
Yep.
It was in Victoria.
Oh, right, sorry, my bad.
Good.
Total 398. So she would have probably been in this conversation if she competed, I think. But she's doing Commonwealths, I believe. Yeah.
I haven't seen the nominations on the good lift yet, but I assume she'd be going for some junior 84 records in the Commonwealth federations. But all the best, Chanel, and obviously Chris as well.
Does she have much longer as a junior?
I think this is her last year as a junior.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So that'll be
So
nice
she's
when she comes up
squeezing it
then.
out.
Yeah, interesting.
Making the most of it this year.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
she benches like 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got an impressive bench. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, that's all my 84s.
Very good, mate.
So everyone.
Good luck, ladies. All right.
Alrighty. Moving on to
84
the
pluses.
84 plus. Okay. So again, this is based on information that I've found from Open Powerlifting, or if I've been able to get in contact via social media with some of these competitors. So in no particular order. So I've got Natalie Lalay. I hope I've pronounced that right. So she's coached by Jacob Sofianos from Strength Club, WA. So at WA States, she totaled 577.5 with a breakdown of a 220 squat, 107.5 kilo bench, and a 250 kilo deadlift. So, that must have been wrong. 250 kilo deadlift.
That's
I think.
huge.
Is that right?
That doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right.
Actually, wait up.
I think that might be right.
No, that is right. No. I think this is the girl that. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah.
What's her name?
No.
Give me 1 sec, eh?
Yeah, you sent me the video.
Because
yeah.
that's just taken me back rereading this because
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
I've jotted my notes down this morning.
No, it was so Jess Butner has the largest
Mate, this
deadlift
is-
of all time in the IPF history, and
Yep.
then this lady, fucking mate.
Just go. And
Like I think in training she pulled more than it or something.
mate, I'm about to get onto that because
Yeah.
I've just reaffirmed my notes because I obviously was unsure if I've jotted this down correctly, but I have.
Yeah. Too busy thinking about how you're going to dress up like Will Farquaad.
Yeah, that's it, mate. 100%. I'm just laughing at the banter that we had.
How he's going to
That's
grow
it.
an extra 3 inches.
What?
Come on, mate. Head out of the gutter.
Go on, hurry up.
Anyway, moving on. The breakdown anyway was 220, 107.5, and 250. So squat and deadlift are big, you know. She actually missed her third squat at that competition at 225. So I didn't actually see a video of how that went down, whether it was red lights or if she just didn't have it there on the day. But her PB bench is also 110, which is 2.5 higher than what she did on that day. So how training's been going as of late, 4 weeks out, she hit a 232.5 kilo squat, 4 weeks out. No recent content on bench, so given that her best is 110 in APU competition, I've basically gone off that. With the deadlift, I saw her do 250 at 8 on the 7th of July. But as you said in training, she has a pinned post on her Instagram that's a 262.5 kilo deadlift. So, man, like...
It's 5 kilos off you, mate.
It's
Come on, man.
big
We have to do
numbers.
me like that.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
So I've basically got a best lifts total based on those training numbers that I just mentioned, not regarding the 262.5 kilo deadlift because the most recent that I've seen was the 250 on the 7th of July. But best lifts total of 592.5. But I do think that she'll crack 600 on the day.
Stubs at the moment. How good's that?
Mate, so that's
so
going to be an
cool.
unbelievable performance. I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And it's good as well because all these competitors have been like a good supporter of the podcast and have enjoyed it, enjoying the hype being built around as well. So I think that it's going to be good to shed some light on that performance in particular
Yeah,
and
that's
draw
sick.
some attention because
Yeah,
that
so
is
Sunday,
unbelievable.
I think. What time do the girls start?
Sunday, I think they're platform 1 and
Yep.
they're on in that like morning-ish session. You know how they're starting at like 10 a.m.-ish?
Yeah.
So it'll be around there.
Let's
So
get some
keep
eyes on
your eyes.
platform 1 in the morning.
Yeah, definitely keep your eyes on that because that's...
I'll probably be very hungover.
Oh, mate, talk to me about it. Cool, so then we've got Anna de Jux as well. At Queensland State, she totaled 469 kilos. The breakdown was 180 squat, 94 kilo bench, and a 195 deadlift. So her only PB that exceeds those numbers is bench at 95 kilos. So I'm assuming at Queensland State she may have gone for a record attempt or that's been documented wrong on open powerlifting. I'm not sure. Couldn't find any socials on that, but according to OpenPL, she's 42, so she's actually an M1, which is interesting. So I don't have any context to how she's going to perform because I've not seen any social media content or I wasn't able to get in contact. But regarding open powerlifting, we've just got to think that she's going to total more than 469, which she did at Queensland States. So moving on, we've got Jessie Toms. So WA States again, she totaled 480, squat was 190, bench was 115, and deadlift was 175. So at that competition, she missed her third bench at 120, and she's also mentioned to me that she's going to be going for the record on that, which is only 90 kilos. So
She a junior still?
exceed. No, she's 24 now, according to OpenPL. So I think that last year was her last year as a junior. But she's also coached by Jacob Sofianos.
Jacob with the big girls.
So he's sorting it out, man. But her PBs in relation to that performance at WA States are quite interesting. So her squat PR is 215, but she only did 190 at WA States. And her deadlift PB is 180 and she only got 175. But after having a conversation with her, she said that in March she injured her sacroiliac joint. So she's been working with her coach and Kelly from Perth to sort that out. So in the midst of that, she's gone from being a lifetime sumo puller to pulling conventional now, just to relieve it, the pressure that was being put on that injury. And she's now exceeded her numbers in training that she had done with sumo, pulling conventional.
Right.
So that's really good. But yeah, her training, she's third year of powerlifting as well, so still like, relatively new for the numbers that she's putting up to be a top contender.
I
in
think
this
she's
weight
also
division.
doing like a weight loss thing too.
Yeah, she is.
And
So
she looks, have you seen how she looks beforehand?
No.
yeah, no,
Unreal.
she's doing really, really well. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good because I've been following her for a little bit, so like kind of seen that
Yeah.
transformation as it's gone, and yeah, it's really good.
No, you're doing well, Jesse. Keep it up.
Yeah.
It's good.
So her actual training. So I've seen 5 days ago, basically, at 2 weeks out, she's hit a 210 squat at about RPE 7, 112.5 kilo bench at about RPE 8.5, and then a 185 deadlift at 8. So that hit an equal total PR of 507.5. So on the day, I reckon she's good for about 225 to 230 on squat, bench 120 because she missed it that last time, and then the deadlift I think between 200 to 205, which will give her a total of 545 to 555. So I think that's a reasonable judgment.
The hard
but
thing with these Western
it's-
Australians that you got to consider is the travel.
100%.
Like, fuck me. Like, I think, I don't know how the time difference works, but in New South Wales and Victoria, we just went through daylight savings. Does it change over there at all? Or does it stay the same?
It changes in WA, I'm pretty sure.
It changes.
Yeah.
So you got to consider that Queensland stays the same. You're flying over, going forward. Forward in time.
Yeah.
So you got to consider, like your body clock. Like if if I was from WA, I'd be flying in on Tuesday, and I would be, acclimatizing to this time change, but also the humidity on the Gold Coast compared to WA. Like I don't know about you blokes, but when I went there last, it was pretty dry. You know what I mean? So sweating more, probably going to have to drink more water, more electrolytes. Like I think you just got to consider those factors if you're coming over from Western Australia.
I think the advantage that these lifters would have though is because they're in like the 84 plus category, they've got no issue with making weight or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, they can pump those electrolytes, they can get that water in and eat food and, adjust themselves however they need because they don't necessarily have to be below a certain weight.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
It's the advantage you get. That's good though.
Yeah, it is good. Cool, moving on. We've got Kelly Wanray. So at Queensland State, she hit a 452.5 kilo total. Squat was 167.5, bench was 95, deadlift was 190. So she missed her third bench and deadlift. The bench attempt was 100 and the deadlift was 200.5. So that was a chip on a state record, I assume. So she said that it hasn't been her best prep due to work and personal commitments. She's expecting similar numbers to states, but hoping to crack that 200 kilo deadlift.
Awesome.
So on the day, I've written her down as good for 167.5 to 172.5 on the squat. So given that she hit 167 at states, I think that maybe plus 5 kilos. We'll see how she goes, just given the prep. I think for the bench, considering she missed 100, I'm going to give her that on the day. And then 200 kilo deadlift, of course, which is actually interesting though, because the deadlift record is 200 kilos. So she could go for that chip again.
I think the deadlift.
But I think, but if she goes first, she can go for a chip.
That's
maybe.
true.
But unless it's broken by a first or second attempt by a different lifter.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
Which
I think she would have to do it on her opener.
Oh yeah, of course, because we've got like those heavy deadlifters at the start. Yeah, so that's it. But hopefully 200 on the day for her, which will give her a total of around 467.5 to 472.5.
Awesome.
So yeah, and then last but not least, we've got Christy Lister. So she totaled at Queensland States 463. Breakdown was 175, 105.5, and 182.5. Those are her matched or best lifts. So she's coached by Fabian, who owns Heavy Metal, that you said. Her training recently, I just have this through message information as well that she's given me. So I've had no videos to reference how hard these lifts were. But she hit a 180 kilo squat on Monday, a 107.5 bench quite recently, and last week she went for a 175 kilo deadlift with her last heavy pull to come this week. So I assume that she may be going for 180. And then based off that, I've given her good for a squat at 190 on the day, a bench of 115 to 120, which that's just given that she said her 107.5 was really easy. But again, that was a PB, so, you know, that could be a generous give on the bench, you know, maybe 115 or 112 and a half. Deadlift between 190 and 195. So the total will be about 495 to 505, which would be really good to see her crack the 500. And that's all the ladies.
Awesome. Good recap, mate. I'm actually impressed how many ladies there are in the 84 pluses.
Yeah, it's good. And, you know, they're all up there with their totals, you know what I mean? You've obviously got the heavy hitters that are going to be in contention for the obvious first place, you know, with 600 kilo totals. And then, you know, I think that Jessie is strong contender for number 2. And then, because I don't know what Anna's doing with her training, it's hard to tell with third place with her, Kelly, and Christy. So, yeah.
It's good for the sport. Well done.
Definitely.
It's good.
Good luck,
to you.
ladies. Men. We're going to do the 105s last because the 120s aren't as competitive. Right, we leave the best for last, eh?
Alrighty. So we'll do 120, then 120 plus, then 105.
Yeah, we can do that. Easy as, eh?
All right, great. We'll move on.
All right, 120s. Again, I got the top 5 from open powerlifting. Number 5, I've got Big Bad Benny Newman, one of your very own.
Big boy.
He did 700 at New South Wales States with a 265, 190, 245. So ridiculous bench press.
Yes.
He doesn't post very much, and he won't reply to my messages.
No.
How's his training going?
Good. No.
Yeah.
That's funny, he doesn't message you, because he messages me all the time. Yeah. He must know that you're a 120, mate.
That'll be him now.
Yeah.
Honestly, he is my favourite competitor to watch.
Man,
We've worked on
energy.
that. We've worked on that because it was tiring for him.
Yeah.
Like, he would come out
Yeah.
carrying on and whatnot. That's testy pop. But he pretty much needs to come in focused and driven and not kind of like get too carried away.
Yeah.
Because that took a lot of energy out of him, which is the hard thing for Benny. So, which is conserving energy, right?
Yeah. Well, he's a big dude, and like that level of arousal is fatiguing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It is.
If you're up there,
and
the
if you
whole-
can hold
the whole
yourself that
comp.
high for that long, good on you. But
Yeah.
fuck, there's a reason why he dies in the ass once we get the deadlifts. You know what I mean? Like, and, we're just mentioning that at the moment, and like benching and yelling while you're pressing, losing.
Yeah, losing tension,
Everything,
losing
yeah.
your position. Yeah,
So
for
we've
sure.
been working on that, and training's been flying. We doubled 260 in training, which is 5 kilos below his best, and that was at like 8 RPE, which
For a
is
squat,
great.
yeah.
Benched 192 and a half, and that was at 8, which was great. And then deadlift, we only got up to, I think, 250 for a single at 9.
Yep.
So already above his comp best on his deadlift, doubling 5 kilos less than his squat, benching 2.5 off his, 2.5 over.
Yeah, over. Yeah.
Over his best bench. But the hard part is with Benny is that he went to Iceland, went on a hike
Okay. Yeah, right.
for 2 weeks.
How long ago was that?
It was between weeks 6 and 4 out from nationals.
Yeah, right.
Oh wow.
That set us back a little bit, purely only because of the fact that he was doing, expeditions, and he'd only trained twice while he was over there, which was really hard because for a bloke like him, like, believe it or not, Benny does some volume. Like I think he does something like 20-ish sets a week on bench, and he doesn't squat as many as that, but like he just didn't do any squats at all. You know what I mean? Didn't do any deadlifts. So we've come back and we've had to pull a peak literally out of our ass, but we've salvaged most of it.
Yep.
Like, he looks pretty good.
That's good.
Like, he squatted, actually, I think today he squats his last heavy session, or tomorrow, I can't remember. But he's going to be hitting 252 and a half, which is obviously 12 and a half under his best, but it should move considerably well, considering 247 and a half last week was good.
Yeah.
He benched 187 and a half this week, and he deadlifted 247 and a half last week. So he's getting back up to those numbers, but we just don't quite have the momentum that we had before he went to Iceland.
Yep.
And man, if he just stayed in Australia for those 2
Yeah,
weeks, fuck, he could be on. But in saying that, he his second deadlift at States, and his last bench.
Yep.
So there are kilos to be made on the platform in those two lifts already.
Yeah, for sure.
It just matters on how we can actually peak, without the fatigue.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So, does he get a lot out of a peak? And is this loss of momentum while he was away going to impact that?
I think
a
it
lot?
will.
Yeah.
He got heaps out of his squat. Like I think he squatted like 17 and a half more than what he did in training.
That's
and
insane.
it was easy.
Yep.
Bench was a shite show because he always overshoots. So we didn't get to hit what we did in training on the platform. We did 197.5 in training, and he only did 190 on the platform. So we lost 7.5 kilos there. But we've sorted that out. And then deadlift was less on the platform than what we did in training. But that was because we were deadlifting after his squat.
Yep.
And that was fatiguing for him. So we've just swapped those days around and put his primary deadlift on Monday. And that allows him to be fresh after 2-day rest days. So then, therefore, it's not fatiguing for him. You know what I mean? It's just short arm, high hip starting position type things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, good on you, Benny. Looking
Good luck
forward to
to him.
seeing you. Yeah. He's a great ambassador for the brand of Hunter Performance Centre. Absolutely love him.
No, he's a good bloke.
And I look forward to after Nationals when we actually get to capitalise on the momentum that he can produce because we've seen it in his training.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, number 4. Got William McGallinan. So he came first at ACT States. So he beat me just by 75 kilos. Squatted 267.5, bench 160, deadlifted 282.5. He did attempt 300, but just failed on strength.
He's from WA, right?
Believe so.
Yeah, I think he flew over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's coached by Shay, ACT.
Maybe.
I'm not sure where he's
Yeah,
actually
right.
from there.
Maybe.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
he's from WA. He's a tall, bald bloke, yeah?
No. That's Nathan.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no.
My bad.
No, I think Will's from ACT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Will.
Anyway, not much on his socials, but he said himself that he's looking at maybe 275 to 280 for his squat, 165 for his bench, 300 to 310 on his deadlift. So that'll give him a total PR of about 30 to 45 kilos. So that'll put him right up, like in the conversation for second place at least.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
That's good. This is good PRs, yeah.
Yeah,
Keep going, that's
definitely.
good.
In third place, I got Aaron Watton, coached by Scott Hill. He did New South Wales States, got a 730 total, 285, 165, 280. Last week, though, he squatted 270, deadlifted 281. So squat's only 15 kilos behind what he did in comp. Deadlift's over what he did in comp. So he's going to make up some kilos on the platform next weekend. I think he's looking at he said himself 300 squat and deadlift, and then a 175 to 180 bench press. So 775, 780, getting close to that 800
That's
kilo
massive
total.
difference in training.
Yeah, absolutely. 30 kilos on the
Gives you
squat.
peak, mate.
Yeah, literally. Not much else to say about Aaron. He doesn't really post that much, but yeah, he's pretty confident.
Trains
He'll
out
get that.
para elite, doesn't he?
300. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Second place, Kane Cullen from Queensland, got 265, 185, 315 at States with a 765 total. He had a shoulder injury affecting his bench press, but he seems to be all good now. So that was affecting him in his prep for States. So he thinks he'll bench 195, 200-ish in competition.
That could be the biggest bench of the day.
Yeah. He might even get to 205, he reckons.
Wow.
So the record's 210 at the moment, so he's getting close to that. He's going to be pushing that. He pulled 300 kilos for a double 7 weeks ago, but again, doesn't post very much. He said his main goal is just to go from 9, but he's willing to pull for a medal placing if it's there, as you would. But I think he's pretty set to get second place. I've got him down for about 270, 280 for a squat, 195, 205 for bench, 320 to 325 for deadlift, which is 785 to 810. So somewhere close to 800 kilos. That's pretty set for second place, I think, as I said, but it doesn't put pressure on first place. Big Sam Butterworth from Perth Motion, coached by Kelly Mann.
Butterguts.
Yeah, his numbers are just ridiculous. He did 300 squat, 185 bench, 327.5 at Queensland States, giving him 812 total. He he's got a pattern. The last 3 comps, he's failed his last deadlift. So that 812 is definitely not what he's capable of. He's capable of a lot more. I spoke to him. He said he's looking at 315 to 320 for his squat. I know he's doubled 300 in training.
And you did 310 at Pro Raw Gym.
Yeah.
We were all down there in Melbourne for Junior Nationals.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
big squat.
It was fucking easy after a big day, may I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, 190 bench press, and then 345 to 350 deadlift. I know he's done 350 in training a few times now. So I think this 850 to 860 total is definitely on the lower end of what he's capable of. I think there's a lot more there, but he doesn't need to push it, right? He's got first place.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think it'll just be about going 9 for 9 and
Yeah.
trying to push himself within those parameters
If he
as much
secures
as he
that
can.
third pull,
Yeah.
it's a massive total PR.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I think, like he pulls 350 quite easily in
Yeah.
training, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like I think it's just a big boy thing, like on observation. Like you just kind of do a big squat. It's pretty hard to back up for big deadlift as well. But yeah, that's is that the largest total in under 120 history?
It will
In
be. So
Australia?
the total record at the moment is 830. So if he pulls 850, 860, like that's making a statement, yeah?
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, for sure.
And what about the total that he'll finish at going 9 for 9? What was that? Sorry.
850 to 860.
All right. So I know
Conservatively.
Yeah, I know the all-time like tested Australian record is Cam McKenzie did 888.
Yeah.
So I know Sam is a little bit bummed out that Cam's not doing nationals or powerlifting, let alone anymore. But I know for a fact that 888 is on his mind, and
Yep.
he'll probably be hunting that for Malta next year. And he's got so much time to build between now and June.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
But I back Sam away. Lovely dude. I've been competing with him for 6 nearly years.
Yep.
And he's come so far in that time.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him go through the peaks and troughs, and obviously training at Iron Underground to below parallel to now with Perth Motion. Like
Yeah.
he's done the rounds, and he deserves nothing but the best for all his efforts. So
Yeah,
definitely.
Good luck to you, Butterguts. Fuck yeah.
That's it. So who are you saying that it was in the 120 pluses he's trying to derive some motivation from?
Stubberfield?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Stub squatch, isn't it?
That's it, Stubbs watch, mate.
Yeah. I think he's called him out because he's got no competition in the 120, so he just wants to get the biggest total of the day,
Yeah.
of the competition.
Speaking of 120, like,
Yeah.
Speaking of it, let's move on, eh? So, in no particular order of placing as well, we've got Brandon Robertson. So, SA states he went 8 for 9, totaled 820, squat was 335, bench was 155, and deadlift was 330. He missed his third deadlift at 345, and those comp PRs are as they stand from that competition. His coach is Patrick Morrison, so shout out to him.
Pat Morrison, shout out, Strength Lab Adelaide.
There you go. So in his training, as of recent, he's posted up a squat PR at 340. I put it down as a 9.5 to 10. It was a bit of a grind. I showed it to Michael as well, and he said, you know, if he were to put maybe 2.5 more on that, we were unsure of.
Yeah,
whether
there's
it
a bit of
would
a
come up.
sticking point.
It was.
But yeah, he got it up.
He did. So that was 5 weeks out though. So I don't know, you know, when you're pushing to your top ends like that at 5 weeks out, I don't know how much more momentum you have to give leading into competition. But it'll be interesting to see how the peak treats him and his taper does. So with the bench, there's no content. But if, you know, he's already at these top ends of his squat and his bench, squat and his deadlift, sorry, and his bench is only at 155. So I'm unsure if he would have made technical changes. I looked at how he benches and he just has like a really long range of motion, kind of sinks it into his chest quite a bit. So I think that there's a lot of room there with like the low hanging fruit of technical changes for his bench press. And, you know, I feel like he could improve that a lot, but I'm not sure if he's capitalised on it.
Yeah. Not to say sinking your bench is bad.
No.
You see it a lot more in the bigger boys.
100%, yeah. Like at the world level and everything, that's what you see. But it was just from that head ref angle, the video was, and you could see how far down his elbows track below the shoulder joint. Like the ROM was huge.
So you're saying he doesn't have a problem with the new rule?
Yeah, no, that's it, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see if he one-ups his bench or lands around the same. His deadlift in training, he hit a 340. I think that is a PR. I'm not sure because he failed that 345 on his third attempt at SA States. But that was at about 4 weeks out. So I think he's got a little bit of room there, and hopefully the peak treats that well. So I've got him down as good for on the day, a squat between 345 and 350. A bench between 155 and 160 because there's no context. But, you know, if he had a successful attempt at 155, I'm assuming that 5 kilos is reasonable, maybe. Just depends on how he's tracking with that. And then for deadlift, I've got him down for a 355. So his total will be 855 to 865 with those numbers. So moving on there, we've got Jackson Stubberfield, so Butterguts' competition apparently. At WA States, he went 9 for 9. He totaled 810, squat was 305, his bench was 200, big bench. Deadlift was 305. So his PRs as well exceed those numbers on squat and deadlift. So his best squat in competition is 322.5 and his best deadlift in competition is 320. But that's only considering 3 lift competitions because in a bench only, he did 207.5. So he's still got more there. It's just whether he gets fatigued after a squat and can't execute those high-end benches. But anyway, at Collet Nats in 2021, his total was 840. So that's his total PR as well. He did miss a couple of attempts there though. So he's now, I don't know how long he's been coached by Kelly Man, but he is now at least. So whether he went conservative at WA States to get a 9 for 9 performance, I'm not entirely sure. His training as of recent, squat 310 at 9 to 9.5 5 days ago. So that's moving quite well. No recent content on his bench. The most recent was the 17th of July. I saw him do a 195 at around a 7. And then his deadlift, 325 at 9.5 to 10, 2.5 weeks out. So moving pretty well. I've got him for the day. I've got him good for a 325 to 330 squat. Bench, given that 195 at 7 and how long he's had since that to gain momentum on it, 210 to 215. And then deadlift, 330 to 335, which puts his total at 865 to 880.
And what does Butters want?
850, 860.
So
Well, it's going to be close for the
if you can sit
2 blokes there, you know.
Yeah,
and
so,
Butters.
you know, you've got 855 from Brandon, you've got at the low end, and you've got 865 at the low end for Jackson. And then, you know, you've got Sam as well. So on the day, it's just going to be about who shows up.
Making your lifts.
I'm not 100%, but I think Sam might be in the same flight as some of these guys.
I think so, yeah.
So there could be a little bit of back and forth.
Definitely.
Into
Shoulder
weight
bars
class.
on the way past the chalk bar.
Yeah, that's it. And then I've also got Tyson Rapana. I hope that I've pronounced that correctly. But I couldn't find him on the socials at all. So this is just based on information from Open Powerlifting. So at Queensland States, he totaled 820, squatted 320, benched 140, and deadlifted 360. So huge deadlift.
Fucking hell.
He missed his third bench at 155. Obviously not having socials. I don't know what that was on. But his bench PB as it stands is 145 in competition. So I think that maybe at this comp he might try that 155 again. Hopefully land it. Obviously no reference in his training, couldn't find any socials, but in the last 2 competitions, that's all that's recorded on OpenPL for this guy as well. So from the Sunshine Coast Open, which was in November 2021, he's upped his squat by 20 kilos, his bench went down by 5 kilos, and his deadlift's gone up by 10 kilos. But at that competition, November 2021, he missed that 360 pull, which he made at Queensland States. Right. So I'm not sure if he's at that upper end and he's just missed it on grip at that former competition, and then the most recent one, he's just improved on that. So I'm not sure if he's got much more to improve on as far as his deadlift goes. But given the last two and those increases I just mentioned, I've got him good for on the day, a 330 squat, well, 330 to 340, bench 145 to 150, because I don't know how he missed that last one. And his PB in competition is only 145. And then the deadlift, I've got him between 365 and 375, given that he's successfully pulled 360 at States. Maybe 5 kilos increase on that to 10 kilos.
Can only assume.
Can only assume. And then, so that puts his total between 840 and 865.
Do you reckon, I was going to say, do you reckon 360 will make the Alico bar bend?
No,
Nah,
Probably not.
straight as.
nothing below 400. But yeah, so that lands him. His upper limit is 865. And then we've got Jackson's lower limit is 865. Brandon's upper limit is 865.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's pretty tight there. And then you've got Butterguts as well. So,
What about Michael
should
Plant?
be good.
What about him?
What
Who's
about
that?
Michael Plant? Hey,
Hey?
Where's he?
Mr. Moonboot.
Were
Not in
you,
the-
were
not
you
in the
intending on doing Open Nationals?
Yeah, I was going to. I obviously competed at New South Wales States, didn't qualify. Did ACT States, did qualify, and then I think it was 13 weeks out from Nationals, broke my ankle. So in a moon boot for 8 weeks.
Do you reckon
Just-
you're stronger now than what you were at ACT States?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? Like before I broke my ankle, I was only doing like 200 kilos for a triple at like 9. And then first time I squatted 200 kilos since breaking my ankle, I did it for 4 and it was easy. So I don't understand what's going on. Maybe I just need a big rest before he gets tired or
That's
something.
it, eh? Yeah, you needed literally a 3-month rest.
Yeah. All 3 of my lifts are just like blowing up right now. So it'll be interesting to see how we go in December.
I reckon it's a moon boot enhancement.
Yeah.
I'm on some of that moon boot, not really.
I'll break your ankle.
Not really. Don't say that.
Bloody hell. All right, well, we will get started with the
Oh yeah. Speaking of 105s,
the
Don't
dump.
forget about me.
Do you have clients like that who just dump videos on you, like
Yep.
20 at once?
yep.
Don't do that. If you're an athlete, do not send 20 videos at once. Send them as you go.
Yeah.
Because we can
Every-
fix it
each
in
day.
set. Exactly right. All right, Luke Brennan. He is coached. Oh, sorry. This is the 105s, by the way. This is the most competitive weight class of
The heavies.
Of the heavies.
Of the heavies. Alright. So Luke Brennan is coached by Dan Wallington from Strength Workshop in Minchinbury. I think I said that right. Out in Sydney. Luke is from Ireland, so he's competed over there before, and hopefully he can bring some of that Irish fire to this year's championships. At New South Wales Open Men's States, he went 250, 132.5, 310. He went 5 for 9. Okay, for a 692.5 kilo total. Funnily enough, it was a 22.5 kilo total PR. And this is the thing with blokes who go 5 for 9 or 9 for 9. Like, they go 5 for 9 because they're not strong enough on the day, right? Or they go 9 for 9 because they left kilos off the platform.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, you can only assume that Luke's intention to go 9 for 9 probably would have had him so much higher than a 692.5 kilo total. You know what I mean? Or did the person who went 9 for 9 make that PR total, but do they have an extra bit more room after that to actually, you know, put on a performance that's going to be competitive or not? So,
Yep.
do you guys think that the outlook of going 5 for 9 is better than going 9 for 9? Like, for your next competition?
Well, you always want to go 9 for 9, but I think it's dependent on the competition and who's there on the day and how far you have to push yourself. Because, you know, like we've said, sometimes you're in those positions where you maybe a subtotal specialist and you have to push those lifts that little bit more to make up for lost ground in the deadlift if you're going against someone who's going to have the opportunity to pull for the win over you. And then vice versa, you know, you might be someone who has missed out on their subtotal, but then when it comes to deadlifts, that's where you make your ground. So you have to make those leaps.
It's more contextual by the sounds of it.
Yeah,
You know, when
definitely.
it comes to making lists at like these sort of championships.
Yeah,
What do you
I
reckon?
think
Yeah, I think obviously it's best case scenario to go 9 from 9 and not leave a single kilo off your total. But that's very, very hard to do.
that's an idealistic way of thinking, right?
Yeah. So I personally would rather leave 5 kilos off each lift and be sure I go 9 from 9. But that's hard to do. Comp day, like, is different to training, right? You might do a 700 kilo total in training and then be capable of 750 on the day, or do 700 in training and be capable of 680 on the day.
Yeah.
You don't know how it's going to go.
You just need more data.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely.
So we don't know the context behind why Luke went 5 for 9 at States, but I guess the the story will unfold itself.
Yeah.
And in coming years, if Luke hangs around, we can actually see the trend that builds over time to time, doing preview after preview, you know, these scouting, it matters. And as a coach looking on the scene of like who your competitors are against, you know coaches, how hard they push their athletes, like the attempts that they make. Are they smart? Are they silly?
Yeah.
Like you need to be doing the scout. And we're back. Sorry, we just had a technical difficulty where the camera overheated again. I've got to learn how to not record in 4K, but 4K looks mad.
Looks mad.
Makes us look good.
That's it.
So yeah, to carry on with Luke. So training-wise, from looking on his Instagram, he spent some time doing some quite unspecific stuff since states and national and leading into nationals. For example, he's done the 9 rep set at 280 on the deadlift bar.
Yeah, right.
And he's done 4x5 on high bar. So has been spending quite some time working away from the competition lifts. I know he's been handling some shoulder or elbow issues in regards to the bench press. And he's been seeing racing physio from PB Physio in Sydney. And since then, however, in the last 4 weeks, he's been able to string together a set of 5 at 290 on deadlifts on a power bar and benched a double 2.5 kilos under his comp best. I've got no squat intel, but considering that he's done 5 at 290, he's benched 2.5 under his previous comp best, you can only assume that he's just probably going to be able to do a little bit better and capitalising on that 5 for 9 performance at States. What is so funny?
Just as you were talking, someone's doing
bang.
about 20 reps on the deadlift. Boom!
I try my best to ignore that. All right. Next up, we have my Toko, the Tonganator, Joshua Lanivia. That is a sick name. He's coached by Thomas Duong from Prime Performance. And the biggest stat that Joshua has is that he has only ever competed twice.
Wow.
Okay, so he's done his state qualified and he's done his states. And he's already incredibly strong, totaling 730 kilos at only 26 years of age. At States, he had probably the best hype crew I've ever seen. They all came in like matching shirts and shit. And
I remember that.
They were doing like,
Yeah, that was
they were
mad.
going off. It was so sick to see. At States, Josh went 255, 180, 2.5, 290, 2.5. He went 6 for 9, missing 270 twice. He went 3 for 3 on bench and then missed 312.5 on deadlift. So he's got a lot of room to make up on his total, considering he had that many big misses at States.
Yeah. I think that comes from experience as well, you know?
Yeah.
You know, maybe leading into a third competition, you'll have more of an idea about it.
Yeah, like not only in like what attempts to make, but like how your prep goes, how your peak goes, how you know the end result turns out to be. Like he could have squatted 260 in training or 265 and it moved like he had 270 as a second.
Yeah.
So I think Tom, being the coach that he is, he probably would have analysed that data, and Toko, being the bloke that he is, probably would have taken that as well. And since then, as you've mentioned, like experience and learning what works and what doesn't work, Josh has been absolutely popping off. He squatted 280 and also doubled 270, so the weight that he missed at States, and he benched 2.5 under his comp best, so 180 for a double. And he also unlocked that deadlift, which he missed at States, smacking 312.5. So, yeah, he's gotten stronger. I'm going to dive into the numbers later on, but that is impressive. Considering that Nationals is his third competition, I think the only thing that is not on his side is experience. But he has the experience of Tom. He has the experience of obviously all Adonis, because that's where he trains. So I'm sure that he's going to have a fantastic day.
Great.
Next up is my favourite, Mr. Tom Chaplin. He's coached by Kelly Mann for Performotion, and he's been gaining momentum this past year, sending his total well north of 750 kilos. And he's honestly been carrying this momentum for quite some time now, ever since I think it was States last year, or a comp that was at Sim City last year. And he's very close to being within reach of that elusive 800 kilo total. At Collate Nationals in 2021, he did 267.5, 175, 285. That was 727.5 going 8 for 9. And that was a 22.5 kilo total PR at the time. And then at 2022 IPF Worlds in South Africa, he went 270, 187.5 and 300. So that was a 757.5 kilo total, and he went 8 for 9 for a 30 kilo total PR, missing his second squat on depth. So I remember watching that live actually, and it was very easy, but technical ability obviously to squat on the platform to depth just wasn't there, and he probably shaved off a few kilos on his squat just to make sure that he obviously solidifies a big total, which he obviously did.
Yep.
And since competing at Worlds, Tommy has been absolutely flying through his training, squatting 285 5 weeks out, and that was pretty good. I think it was probably just as easy as Toko's 280.
Yeah, okay.
And then he benched 195 at 6 weeks out, so that's a massive 7.5 kilo PR in comparison to his competition best. And he deadlifted 285 as well, which I think is up around where he's been close to deadlifting in training anyway, before he did Worlds. So
Yeah, right.
he's looking for quite a big day. A lot has improved in his squat.
Yep.
And will that tap into maybe his ability to pull something big? We'll find out. All right. Next up is Michael Rand. I've had the pleasure of handling Michael at States, and we'll be handling him at Nationals. His ASL is 28, male, and Northern Beaches, Sydney. He has been competing at 105 his whole career, over 5 years, across 15 comps. So he's very experienced. I actually met Randy over in Singapore when I competed as a junior with him. He was in the 105s, I was in the 74s. And since then, he's just come leaps and bounds. So at 2020 Nationals, coincidentally the same Nationals that we last competed at together, he did 290, 193, 332. So it was an 18 kilo total PR at 815. And I think that's like second or third ever in Australian tested history at under 105 to total 800. So that was behind Nikolai Cushing, who unfortunately isn't doing APU Nationals this year, and he's someone that would definitely be in this conversation.
Is there a reason for that? Or
I saw him deadlifting on a deadlift bar, so I think he's just getting involved with that side of lifting. But it's a shame because I know he did States and he did well, but I also know that he works hard. I think he's a fish farmer.
Okay.
He farms fish.
Yeah, right.
Sounds all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately he won't go there. He's got a massive pull. Like I think he's pulled like 360 something or at 105. Like that's ridiculous.
yeah, he must be doing some damage on that deadlift bar.
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
my
he's
goodness.
I don't know what he's doing, but it's a shame that he's not going to be there to obviously give these other boys a run for their money.
Yep.
Since 2018, though, I've got some stats here. Michael has gone 6 for 6 except for 1 meet across 9 competitions. So he's a subtotal weapon. Does not miss.
Yep.
However, across the same 9 competitions, his strike rate is only 1 for 3 or 2 from 3 on deadlifts across 4 competitions. So the completion rate of his deadlifting is 55%, which isn't that high. So,
Is that mainly third attempts that he misses?
yeah, sometimes second. Like he missed his second attempt at States.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like he has this massive subtotal, and then he comes in, also has a massive deadlift, but does he capitalise on that?
Just gets a bit overzealous kind of thing.
Maybe, yeah. So, yeah, I think it sounds like it's Michael's to lose, but if he goes 6 from 6, which he probably will based on the data, it's going to be pretty hard to beat him otherwise.
Yep.
There are a few records intact. So 320 deadlift record is currently the national standard, held by William Brown, and he's probably going to chip that.
Yep.
So that will be in his favour. Also by Florian Locke, 208 kilos is the bench record, and he's benched 200 at New South Wales Open States. So just to give a rap from New South Wales Open States, he went 300, 200, couple big numbers, and 321.
Yep.
6 kilos more than what he did in 2020, and one best lifters at that competition. So yeah, there's a room potentially for him to be having those chips carrying towards his total for the advantage of the other fellas, but 208 could be too much of an ask, especially considering he only made 7 kilos worth of gains in 2 years on his bench. And deadlifting wise, I think he can definitely probably chip, hopefully on his second, considering he failed 320 on his second at New South Wales States. He could potentially go for 320.5 just to have that extra edge over the other fellas. But I'll obviously be chatting with him and we'll figure out exactly what plan may work best. But good on you, Mike. That's unbelievable. If he has a big day, he may actually be close to the biggest total, considering the 120 and 120 pluses.
I think he's got the biggest total so far this year, doesn't he?
What did Sam do?
812, I think.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he did 821.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
All right. So from those 4 blokes, I've made up the little chart that we do for the most competitive class of the categories.
Yep.
And we've got Luke Brennan. I've predicted that he will add 5 to his squat, even though I haven't seen much of his squat. 255, 137.5, so an extra 5, considering he doubled 130 quite easily. And then 315 on deadlift, just using E10 RPE based off his 290 for 5. So that's a 707.5 kilo total, and that will be, I think, 15 kilos up from States. But just considering how turbulent his prep's been and the health of his body, that's, I think, the best that he can probably do. But again, he may prove us wrong. I just hope that he has a good day. Next up, and this is a 2.5 kilo difference between second and third. It's that close. We've got the Tonganator. I've got here 285, 187.5, and 315. Okay. So that's a 787.5 kilo total, which is 57.5 kilos above what he did at States. But the thing is that when you're at Nationals, and I think Josh will squat first before Tom, Tom will have the advantage in seeing what he submits for his third attempt. So therefore, you can kind of push your squat easier or harder depending on how hard Josh goes. And I think with Josh doing 285, he needs that. He has to hit that on the platform in order for him to stay in contention. Naughty.
Not bad.
Josh needs 285 in order for him to be in contention and put pressure on Tom. Right? Vice versa, Tom has a bigger bench at 195 in training. That could come to his advantage as well, but he needs that 195 as well. And I think Tom deadlifts less than Josh. So it also works in Josh's favour at the end of the day to have the last say in who comes second.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So moving on to Tom, I've got him at 290, so plus 5 on what he's done in training.
Yep.
I've got 195, which is what he's done in training. And I've got 305, which is plus 5 on what he's done in competition. I think the fact that he's squatting 20 kilos more on the platform than what he did at Worlds is going to probably impact his ability to deadlift a lot on the day. And giving 5 kilos, I think, is fair on his deadlift. But that will give him a total at 790, which is only 2.5 kilos more than Josh. And that's both these boys going 9 for 9. So it's very close. I think the attempts will probably be different to what we've predicted.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to who misses and who makes, who bites first. I think it will be a very tight battle, and I think also, that Josh has the last say with this last deadlift. I could be completely wrong. He could have an extra 7.5 to 5 kilos and actually beat Tommy Chaplin, but who knows? Tom just has to not miss a single squat and bench.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep, for sure.
And then way out in front, I've got Michael Rand. So I've got him here at 305, 202.5, and anything between 325 and 330. So that will give him a total of 832.5 and 837.5, that sort of upper end range. That's being generous on the fact that he's got the strongest in states, because that's going off his states numbers, but fairly generous. And I think from memory, his squat was pretty hard, but I think if he obviously improves technically in his execution, 305 could be there. 202.5, I remember his bench actually being quite easy. So I think 202.5 is just enough, and being him going 6 for 6 is all he really cares about. That's probably going to push him out far enough to, solidify a subtotal that's far bigger than the other boys. And then being the biggest deadlifter of the day, he's probably going to pull something that is just going to be way too far out of reach for the other two fellas. So I think Michael Rand is way out in front. It just comes down to if he goes 6 from 6, which statistically he probably will. Mm-hmm. It will also give him an IPF points within that range of 830 to 837.5 of 103. So that will put him in contention for best lifter overall as well. Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much the 105s. It's so cool to see so many lifters so close together in regards to Tom and Josh, and then see Michael out in front so far. Michael personally told me that he really, really wants to go to Worlds next year and compete finally for the first time, he mentioned. So I think that's something that's been on his mind for quite some time. And the last international competition that he did was Singapore back in 2017. So he has the itch to exceed that, obviously, and compete at a high level again. But obviously on a platform where he can actually challenge himself. So good luck to all involved in the 105s, and that wraps up episode 3. What do you reckon about that though? Do you reckon it's pretty accurate? Or?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
I think that second, third battles, that's going to be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just, like you said, you know, it's with all our predictions really. It just depends how people peak that we may not know about, how people show up on the actual day.
Yeah.
If people have gained more experience from their last competition when they've only done a handful so far.
Tom, I don't know what Tom's been doing. He stopped posting 5 weeks out, and he told me just tell everyone, the viewers, just the first base. You know, what happened in weeks 9 to 5, you know what I mean? And then he'll tell me second base after the comp. Obviously, we'll see it on the platform.
Yeah.
But Josh, however, he's just made stories, posts. It's awesome. It makes my job very easy. So I think Tom's got a question mark, and that works in his favour, obviously, because Tom DeWong, the coach of Josh, probably just doesn't have an idea of what he's doing, only what's happened at 5 weeks out. But Kelly, man, obviously, like, refining his peak, making it better. She's had, I think, 2 competitions with him now. Third one going in. You'd assume that she has a really good idea of what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So it works in Tom's favour to have a really good day as well. But yeah, in saying that, it's also Tom's first comp with Josh. So he's obviously figuring out what works and refining it, and it's clearly obvious because he's been training very well. Yeah. But good luck to everyone involved otherwise, and I think we'll wrap it up, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
So that's the previews done for Nationals.
It's everything, yeah.
Yeah, we did them over 3 weeks, and I think it's been a fantastic experience just sitting down with you two blokes and just going over all the lifters. I've learnt so much about so many lifters I didn't know the names of or know how to pronounce.
Mike's done a good job of informing.
Finding that out,
Yeah. So I think everyone involved, thank you for talking to us and replying to us and giving us your permission to obviously vocalise the success that we wish you guys all to have on competition day. And we hope all the coaches and businesses, clubs and the federation, the APU involved, that you have all enjoyed obviously the publicising that we've been able to provide on the platform that we have. I think moving forward, this is something that I would love to continue, and not only us do, but other clubs as well, because we're only one voice, you know what I mean? We're only one small club in the Hunter. But I would love to see more of this, because it's only going to help grow the sport and make it more of a household name, and obviously give the, I guess, limelight on those lifters and coaches and clubs and the federation involved. Like, we can lead this moving forward and being the club that, or the federation that can actually provide a platform for lifters to get the acknowledgement that they deserve. So thank you for everyone involved. Thank you for everyone that's liked and commented, subscribed. Thank you, Sir Squats a lot, and we want more George 69.
Yeah, that's it.
But till next time, peace out. We're going to start rolling through normal podcasts from now.
Yep.
We've already recorded episode 4 with David Hoffman.
Yep.
And we'll start just doing regular weekly podcasts after that.
Yep.
But we appreciate everyone's support, and thank you for sharing.
And afterwards we're going to do a review of how Nationals actually went, right?
Yeah,
see if we were right or not.
Yeah, that's it. We'll see how...
So that'll be episode 5. So
there we go.
We've got Dave releasing next week before Nationals, and then the week after Nationals we'll do it again. But yeah, we'll basically go through all our all our predictions, all our previews, and we'll see how we shaped up, and we'll obviously,
and how everyone went and how all the battles go down.
Yeah.
Which we're really excited to see.
We wish everyone all the very best. All
Absolutely.
Right? Take care and see you next time.
Yep.
Oh, see you later.